What happens if you never sleep? The nightmare scenario. Imagine trying to stay awake for days on end. No naps, no rest, just pure exhaustion. What would happen to your body, to your mind? The reality of sleep deprivation is way more terrifying than you think. Today, we're diving into what happens if you never sleep. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for this nightmare scenario. To understand the real horror of going without sleep, we first need to talk about why sleep is so important. You might think sleep is just a time for rest, but it's actually when your brain is most active. During sleep, your brain clears out toxins, repairs cells, and consolidates memories. In fact, it's so important that after just one night of bad sleep, your ability to focus, make decisions, and remember things can plummet. And that's just after one night. So, what happens if you push past that? Let's take a look at one of the most famous cases of sleep deprivation, Randy Gardner. In 1964, Randy Gardner, a high school student, set a world record by staying awake for 11 days. Yes, 11 days, straight. His goal? A school science experiment to test the limits of sleep deprivation. At first, he experienced mood changes and trouble concentrating. But by day 3, he started to hallucinate, seeing objects that weren't there. By day 6, he could barely form sentences, and by day 10, he couldn't even remember simple things, like where he was. Randy survived his experiment, but the effects on his brain were clear. The longer you stay awake, the more your brain starts to shut down. And here's the scary part. He was lucky. So, what exactly happens to your body when you deprive it of sleep? The effects start to show up quickly. First, your heart starts working overtime. With no sleep, your blood pressure rises, increasing your risk of heart attacks and strokes. Your immune system? That's next. It becomes weaker, making it harder for your body to fight off illnesses. And your hormones? Let's just say they go haywire. In fact, sleep deprivation mimics the effects of severe conditions like diabetes. It throws your entire body out of balance. Ever notice how terrible you feel after just one night of poor sleep? Let me know in the comments if you've ever pulled an all-nighter and felt like a zombie the next day. But the real horror of sleep deprivation? That happens in your mind. After 24 hours, your mood starts to shift. You're irritable, anxious, and your ability to focus drops. But by 48 hours, things take a darker turn. You begin to see and hear things that aren't there. Hallucinations set in. In another famous case, radio DJ Peter Tripp stayed awake for 201 hours as part of a live broadcast stunt. By the end, he was convinced that his co-workers were trying to sabotage him, and he hallucinated seeing spiders crawling up his arms. It's like your brain starts to betray you. Every minute you stay awake, your grasp on reality weakens. And if you keep going without sleep, it only gets worse. So here's the big question. Can you actually die from not sleeping? Let me introduce you to fatal familial insomnia, a rare genetic disorder where people lose the ability to sleep. Over time, these individuals experience dementia-like symptoms, hallucinations, and eventually, death. The body simply cannot survive without sleep. While it's rare, this condition proves one thing. Your body needs sleep to survive. And if you try to push the limits, you could face serious, potentially fatal consequences. So, what's the takeaway? Sleep isn't just a luxury. It's a vital function that keeps your body and mind running smoothly. And while skipping one night of sleep might leave you feeling groggy, pushing it further can lead to devastating consequences. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. But depending on your age, lifestyle, and health, this can vary. The key is consistency. Do you struggle to get enough sleep? Or have you ever stayed up for an entire night? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video eye-opening, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into health and science topics.